Good morning from the Youth Volunteer of Hampton Roads live stream studio. It's Giving Tuesday, and we are super excited to kick off our first ever Serve-a-Thon. I'm Katie Morgan, Executive Director of Youth Volunteer Corps of Hampton Roads, and I have with me Kimberly Moore, Program Director, who is live from her home studio. So as we kick off our live stream event, I'd like to give a huge shout out to Lakeisha Mosley, our amazing live stream director and producer who has made our vision a reality. Lakeisha is a digital event strategist who lives in Houston and is just an incredible human being. Check out her website, thelmexperience.com. So without further ado, Kim, tell our viewers what YVCHR is all about.
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us. So what is Youth Volunteer Corps of Hampton Roads all about? Well, we are a small 501c3 nonprofit youth development organization, and our mission is to create volunteer opportunities to address community needs and to inspire youth for a lifetime commitment of service. As a youth development organization, we really try to prioritize learning experiences for students in grades 6 through 12 through high-quality service projects in a variety of settings and with diverse populations across the Hampton Roads community. All of our volunteer opportunities are group-based, structured, supervised, and facilitated by YVC team leaders like me and Katie and our Christopher Newport University Bonner Service Scholars.
For those of you who are unfamiliar with Bonner Service Scholars, they are undergraduates at Christopher Newport University who have been accepted into a leadership program with other service-minded students. Bonners, as we call them, are placed at nonprofit sites across the peninsula for the duration of their undergraduate experience. YVCHR currently has 7 Bonners who are devoted to their team leader duties and serving as role models for our youth volunteers. We are so grateful to CNU's Center for Community Engagement for partnering with YVCHR and other local nonprofits to provide this important program support.
And we really do have some amazing Bonners. Thanks for that, Katie. I know I didn't know what a Bonner was when I first started at YVC, and they really make a difference in our ability to host as many projects as we do throughout the year, but more importantly, they're just able to inspire our youth in ways that we can't at our very young ages. We really could not do it without them.
So true.
Now back to the topic of empowering youth. Not only are youth empowered to fill important needs as volunteers, they benefit from serving in so many ways. They develop empathy for others, gain confidence through new experiences, improve interpersonal skills, and cross-cultural competencies. That's a big mouthful. Learn important career readiness skills, not to mention a broadened network of peers and professionals.
So our mission is an important one as we develop not just the leaders of tomorrow, but the leaders of today. One of the great things about YVCHR is that our year-round programming is available at no cost to participants. With the exception of our subsidized camp fees for our Summer of Service experience, any middle school or high school student is welcome to join YVCHR as a youth volunteer for free.
Now let's emphasize that point there, Katie. Our programming, with the exception of our summer camp sessions, is totally free for all youth.
Yes, and this is only possible thanks to business partnerships, grants, individual donors, and fundraising events. Since 3 of our fundraising events have been canceled due to the pandemic, we are sharing with you all today the opportunity to make a one-time or a monthly gift to Youth Volunteer Corps of Hampton Roads.
I vote for the monthly gifts personally, but seriously though, all gifts of all sizes will make a huge impact on our ability to engage and inspire youth to service, as well as the types of projects we can offer and how we can help our partner organizations.
That's right. You have the power to engage youth in service that keeps them involved, learning, and connected to their communities, which is especially important as we navigate the ever-evolving pandemic that has kept so many people isolated. Today, we invite you to visit our donation page, www.yvchr.org/donate, and help us reach our goal of $5,000. There are various giving levels, and we invite you to pick one or to choose any amount that works for you. At the $10 level, you can help provide t-shirts for youth volunteers who have reached their 30-hour recognition for having devoted 30 hours of service with our organization. At the $25 level, you can help us purchase crafts and art supplies. Now, most of the time these are for in-person projects, but we've actually been able to put together kits for our virtual projects as well. So those craft supplies really do come in handy whether we're working virtually or in person. And the next tier is $50, which of course everybody knows PPE is very important these days, but we also purchase other safety equipment and hygiene items so that our volunteers stay safe. And then at the next level, $100 really does go a long way when we are hosting our build projects. So as you can imagine, anytime we are doing construction projects, those materials become rather costly, especially with lumber prices going up, and we love hosting build projects. So $100 can really help provide the materials that we need for construction projects. And the $200 level, of course, 500 is awesome as well. $200 can help send a youth volunteer to YVC Summit. Summit is an opportunity for youth across the YVC network to get together once a year for a 2-day conference in a city somewhere across North America. So we've been to Charleston, we've been to Philadelphia, we've been to Kansas City. You'll hear a little bit more about that later. And it is cumbersome in the sense of travel expenses for families. So we try to make that opportunity available to any youth who wants to go. And Summit is a really big deal in terms of building leadership and confidence and bringing back some really great tips and tools for our affiliate to use here in Hampton Roads.
So basically, you can choose one of those levels, or you can choose any amount you like. We are not picky. Whatever you choose, though, be sure to visit our virtual photo booth to show others that you support YVCHR. See the link below? You can also find the link on our Facebook and Instagram pages and our website.
And here's some great news. All donations made this week will be matched up to $2,000 by our event partner, Consumer Litigation Associates. So every dollar you donate is worth double and will pay dividends in the Hampton Roads community as you activate youth in service to others.
That is some amazing news. So Katie, should we tell everyone what they're going to see throughout this Serve-a-Thon?
Good point. Yes, we are going to do more than talk to you for the next 2 hours. We have so much planned over the next, let's say, 110 minutes. You're going to hear about some exciting projects our youth have been participating in as we check in with our YVC mobile news desk. You will see interviews by our roving youth reporters, hear YVC parent testimonials, and we will even have some live interviews with some very special guests.
And we are definitely going to throw some love to our donors, so don't forget to donate and take a photo in our virtual photo booth.
To kick things off, let's hear from Max Bell, one of our youth volunteers at our mobile news desk.
Hello from the YVCHR mobile studio here in Hampton Roads. I'm Max Bell, and I'm happy to report that it's Giving Tuesday. We've got a great lineup for you today, designed to share all of the amazing things that youth volunteers are doing across the community. You'll hear from the community partners that we serve, as well as parents, team leaders, and youth volunteers like myself. To kick off today's Serve-a-Thon, we're going to take you over to the Parkview Community Garden, where youth volunteers have been busy building raised garden beds and benches, as well as growing and harvesting food for Peninsula Rescue Mission. Let's check in with Adrian, who is on site and reporting live.
Hey guys, this is Adrian with the Youth Volunteer Corps Fall Garden Club, and we're at the Parkview Community Garden watering some winter crops that we're growing this season. We're growing some collards, cabbage, carrots, turnips, and radishes. We're also building a platform for our water bin, which is going to collect water, and it's going to make it much more convenient to actually water our crops this winter season. And here I have with me today Pastor Rusty Beck with the Parkview Baptist Church, and we're interested to know how this garden has impacted your community.
Well, I tell you, so far it's been an incredible impact, not only to our church, but to the community, especially since with some of the police officers in this area, knowing that this was, in dedication of Katie Tynes. But really, with our church, we've got a lot of the folks in our church who live in the community, and the word's getting out. And I have a lot of my congregants who will tell me, hey, I was at the grocery store the other day, and somebody said, you were at Parkview? You got that cool garden thing going on there. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of neat. So we're seeing that impact. And then, of course, we're hoping to really expand it in the springtime. Exciting stuff, and I really appreciate all the hard work that you guys are doing. And it's kind of neat watching the vegetables kind of grow, and and now we've tilled them under and we got new stuff coming. But it's definitely not us doing for the community, but us as a community doing the garden.
Hey there, you're a youth volunteer member. Quick question for you. Why did you start volunteering with the Fall Garden Club?
I enjoy gardening, and I enjoy helping a community that is in need.
I'm Adrian with the Fall Garden Club, reporting live from the Parkview Community Garden. Back to you, studio.
Thanks, Adrian. Wow, what a great opportunity for young people to really make a difference while learning some hands-on gardening and construction skills. So make sure you stay tuned for more of our roving reporters, and we'll be back right after this brief commercial.
Nurturing,
life-changing,
eye-opening,
impactful,
educational,
inspiring,
rewarding, heartwarming. Volunteering with YVC is heartwarming because I've been able to see youth start from 6th grade and start moving up into 9th grade. And they've been with us every year, and they've grown and learned to appreciate how much value they can add to the community.
purposeful. YVC's events, including everything from the start of the project all the way to the service learning, everything is done with a purpose. Perspective changing. YVC has changed my perspective on what giving back to the community actually means.
adventurous. I volunteer because it's always an adventure. There's always new stuff to learn and fun activities to do.
Welcome back. So I have some awesome news to report. We've already got some donors that we want to thank. Shout out to Bill Jones, Chris Keyser, Ben Smelly, and Brian Fries. Thank you guys so much for your generous donations. We could not be more grateful. Don't forget to visit our virtual photo booth at the link below. And don't forget to donate, and we'll give you some love and shout outs too. I also want to give a huge shout out to Max for starting us off. Thank you as well to our first roving reporter, Adrian, and a special thank you to Lewis Walker from Peninsula Rescue Mission and Pastor Rusty Beck for allowing YVC to be a part of such a great project that helps tackle the important issues of hunger within our community. It's been a labor of love and wonderful learning experience for our youth so far. I know I'm excited about our Winter Garden Club that will be taking over to make those exciting changes that Pastor Rusty referenced.
Yes, and we have a lot planned for the garden for 2021 as one of our continuing Big Build projects. Big Build volunteer opportunities are designed to help young people get hands-on construction experience, utilize STEM skills, and build confidence with power tools. Each year, we take on a big build project that will benefit the community and provide a real-world connection to work in the trades, a vital aspect of our local economy and a valuable post-secondary route for students. This year, we have been focusing on not one, but 3 big build projects: the Goat City Playground at Bluebird Gap Farm, the Parkview Community Garden, and constructing beds for children living in poverty with Sleep in Heavenly Peace.
I cannot wait for everyone to hear about those big build projects. But first, let's take a look back at our big build project from 2019, when youth volunteers transformed an empty field at Saunders Elementary School into an outdoor learning space and certified Monarch Way Station. It might give them a better idea of what goes into a big build.
True. It was a huge project that took months to plan and a lot of generosity from sponsors to fund. The Butterfly Garden took 8 days and 2 separate groups of 15 youth volunteers to create. They constructed raised garden beds, benches that convert to tables, a rain catchment system called the Hydro Hut, recycled bottle cap art, and a fence with gates that work. They also replaced the clay with compost and soil and planted the necessary variety of flowers, vines, and trees to host pollinators and fuel monarch butterflies on their annual migration from Canada to Mexico. Let's take a look at the amazing work that was accomplished. Here are highlights from that project from 2 summers ago. That really was a great experience, and hard to believe that was 2 summers ago. I am thrilled that we are joined now by Jeremy Wall, one of our great collaborators and an awesome partner with Newport News Public Schools. Jeremy played a critical role in connecting YVCHR to Saunders Elementary School for the Butterfly Garden Project. Welcome, Jeremy.
Hello, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, great to see you on this incredible oh my gosh, it's Tuesday. I'm stuck on Thanksgiving. Great to see you on this incredible Giving Tuesday. So we have a couple questions for you. And, just kind of feel free to share about some of the things that we've collaborated on together. Just wanted to, let's see here. There we go. What are some of the recent events that come to mind where our youth volunteers were activated in service? So keep in mind, YVCHR and Newport News Public Schools have had a strong relationship over the last decade. But in recent years, we've had the opportunity to do some really cool projects together.
Yeah, I think, YVC has done so many things. So I was thinking stuff that I've been a part of with YVC has been, the family festival. You brought out over 100 volunteers, I think, for that to help with our family festival. That event had over 2,000 people participate, and then all the volunteers and watching the youth and the serve in those different capacities was incredible. Of course, the Saunders Big Build Day was, as you took kind of this empty area and built this unique and special place that children can enjoy. Our Newsom Park, we did some turkey giveaways.
I think we actually, I'm going to interrupt you really quick. I think we have some photos that we can show of those events. So if I could, let me see if we can pull those up. Awesome. So the Newport News Family Festival was the one that you mentioned. And tell us a little bit about that real fast.
Sure. So that was an event, we had designed for families. Obviously, we talked about how can we engage families with teachers and with the community. And we knew we were going to have a big turnout. We knew it was going to be an event where a lot of people came, but one of the issues we had was obviously there's parking, and helping the teachers provide these learning activities in each area. and the different type of event things going on. We call it in the different stations, and so we needed volunteers, and YVC was able to step up. And what made it so, I think, magical was that you know, it's not just that you have a group of people step up. You have people from the community. You have youth, you know, middle school and high school students that are stepping up and leading these stations and interacting with families and interacting with elementary school children, building relationships. It's just I think it's one of those places where it just brings value to each stakeholder, to the child, to the community, to the youth that are serving. It just was a great event. And of course, here was a family forum where we brought families in, or this is Rise event, and the turkey giveaway. I mean, each one of these things is just, it's like, you know, I think the word cherished, you know, cherish comes to mind. We cherish our students, we cherish our families, we cherish these spaces, the schools and things like this. And what's so incredible is that you have these middle school and high school students that are able to, you know, lead this, that brings value to, I think, you know, to the community, and just gives them a sense of worth and purpose. And it's just, it's magical.
Well, I love how you make it a mission to love families and students and keep them connected to their education, and to help them see, you know, just that value of being involved in their communities and their schools. And just by having YVC be a part of that, it really does, like you said, give our youth volunteers like that sense of connection and purpose. And just those opportunities to collaborate. You know, anytime that we can support local schools, and anytime those schools want to partner with Youth Volunteer Corps and have that vote of confidence that we can come through and execute a project, you know, it's a wonderful synergy. And we just appreciate, you know, those opportunities that you've been able to provide for us and with us. So you can also, you know, just look back at that big build video from the Saunders Garden and how transformational that was. And, you know, we look forward to so many more projects in the future, because it really speaks volumes when you can have students from outside Newport News Public Schools come in to support Newport News Public Schools, but also engaging students from their own school district to make their school district, you know, that much better and brighter. So it really is all about empowering youth and making those connections. And I just value our collaboration so much. So you mentioned cherished, and I love how you described that. If you could have one takeaway from Youth Volunteer Corps of Hampton Roads from a parent perspective, what would that be?
As a parent, or for the parents of our communities?
Yeah, either way.
Either way. You know, I think, you know, I do you know, I work in Newport News Public Schools, and I go, you know, I go to people's homes a lot, and I talk to them and try to, you know, find these services to kind of give them self-sufficiency or stability within the home. And, you know, you hear a lot of stories, which is incredible. And one of the things that always sticks with me, the reason I think of the word cherished, I think so much, is because it's something that's treasured. And we all know that we treasure these children and these youth, and we know we treasure these communities. And I think Youth Volunteer Corps is just a phenomenal way to make that known and like I said, empower, but bring value. So I think, you know, as a parent, and as somebody who works with a lot of parents or families, you know, you see that sometimes it's difficult to say, well, how do I fit within this larger construct of our society and our communities? Where do I belong? You know, why do I matter? These are the questions that I think I deal with daily with families. And so, and having two children of my own, you know, they ask that, well, you know, where am I going to fit? You know, what can I do? And of course, Youth Volunteer comes along and puts wheels on that. You know, they say, look, here's what you can do. You know, here's how you can make a difference. Here's how you can, you know, use the word transformation. Here's how you can transform your community through these acts of service and generosity and kindness and love. And so for me, it becomes, man, this is how we cherish each other in these communities. And so, you know, watching some of those youth that I've worked with over the last few years, watching them kind of grow up and seeing them kind of become more confident at each project. Like at first, I'm like, I'm not so sure about this. And then to watch them begin to say, I can do this. I know exactly how to do this. I've done this before. And then just to build that confidence. Yeah, I love it. I love being a part of YVC and working with YVC and all the stuff they're doing in our communities. It's a cherished organization. I think it brings value and it's a treasure. So.
Well, we appreciate those words, but I'm also going to let a little cat out of the bag, which is that one of our youth volunteers values the collaborations that we do with you so much that we had a virtual project, and you'll hear more about those later. But we hosted a virtual project this summer where youth volunteers could write their own story to really inspire younger students, like grades K through 5, to embrace service at a young age. And so we called it Adventures in Volunteering. And we allowed youth volunteers to pick their own topic and to illustrate their own stories. And one of our youth volunteers wrote about that turkey giveaway because it meant a lot to her. And she felt like she could really motivate and inspire the younger generation of volunteers by telling that story and helping them to understand that acts of service can really go a long way in increasing somebody's connection to their education. And then that has snowball effects in terms of, later successes because, they feel welcome at their school because their school cares so much about them. It's all about relationships and just being that positive force. So we really appreciate all that you've done to keep our youth volunteers connected to important projects. And I think that speaks volumes, that our youth volunteers are writing about projects that we've done with Newport News Public Schools as a way to motivate the next generation of youth volunteers. So Jeremy, we thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to the many future collaborations ahead. And yeah, just happy Giving Tuesday, and we will definitely see you again soon.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Wow. Our first interview, that was super awesome. We have several more in store for you this morning. And I want to talk to you about another community partner that is fairly new to YVCHR. That organization is called Sleep in Heavenly Peace. Their mission is to ensure that no child sleeps on the floor, and they work hard to not only build beds, but also source donations of mattresses, pillows, and bedding. The gift of a good night's sleep has significant short and long-term benefits for children. Let's hear from Sleep in Heavenly Peace about their experiences working with YVCHR.
Hi, my name's Marsha. I am co-president of the Virginia Hampton Sleep in Heavenly Peace chapter. We are a nonprofit organization that builds beds for kids who do not have a bed of their own. Today we've partnered for the second time with the Youth Volunteer Corps of Hampton Roads, and with their help today, we have built this year, even after an 8-month hiatus due to COVID, 120 beds this year, which will go out to kids starting next week so that they will all have a bed by Christmas. So we are so grateful to the Youth Volunteer Corps for helping us make this a possibility for kids here on the peninsula. This is a great group of children that we've worked with twice now. They are like bed building pros already, and it's fantastic, and they even stick around and help us load all our equipment back up. I just cannot say enough positive things about them, and we hope to be able to do more events like this with them in the future.
Hello, I am Finn Schreiner reporting from the YVCHR mobile studio. This is a big day for nonprofits across the world, Giving Tuesday. A day when people take inventory of organizations they love and donate to important causes. And as we all know, it has been a tough year marked by unprecedented challenges. But I'm happy to report that Youth Volunteer Corps of Hampton Roads has pivoted and modified programs to expand opportunities and continue engaging youth throughout 2020. Even through the pandemic, there were hundreds of local students displaced from their schools on alternating days due to an electrical fire at the Grafton complex, and YVCHR jumped at the chance to provide daytime projects during the week. Between February and March, students from Grafton, as well as York High and Tab Middle, volunteered at food banks, Gardens of Warwick Forest, the Nolan Trail, and Fear to Freedom. 20 projects in all offered during the school day. This addition to the YVCHR's weekend and evening programs provided an incredible service to the Hampton Roads community while engaging more youth during and out of school time. By March 15th, all service projects were suspended after the global pandemic made its way into the United States of America, closing schools across countries. But YVCHR quickly pivoted to virtual programming and began offering projects during Zoom. These projects enabled youth volunteers to use their time at home to support the important work of the Virginia Peninsula Food Bank, the SPCA, and Riverside Regional Medicare Center. Participants also practiced financial literacy and career exploration and writing skills throughout a variety of other service learning activities. By June, YVCHR introduced its first hybrid project. Youth volunteers grew vegetables from seed at home and then met at Parkview Community Garden 2 weeks later to plant their seedlings. This was the first of many carefully coordinated in-person projects. Speaking of in-person projects, the sun just came out at this project, this beautiful Mayflower project that I am currently at, the food bank. We've got a great story to report from the Bluebird Gap Farm, one of our big build sites. Youth volunteers on the Goat City Committee began planning an enrichment structure for the goats at the Bluebird Gap Farm back in the fall of 2019. Committee members broke the ground on the Goat City on March 7th of this year, but the pandemic abruptly halted the progress. Construction recently resumed at the Goat Playground and is taking shape now. Bree and Chelsea are on site with more information.
Today we're at the Bluebird Gap Farm building a goat enrichment playground. The goal for the playground is to provide the goats with brain stimulation and happiness because goats need it too. Today we're with Elena. Elena, what brought you to this project today?
I love animals and I want to contribute to helping them have a place to play.
And what is your favorite part about this project so far?
I like being in the enclosure, helping build with the tools.
Thank you, Elena, for being here today. Here with us today is the farm manager, Adam Newland. What is the importance of this project?
The importance of this project is that we want our goats to be happy in body, healthy in body, and happy and healthy in mind as well. So with this project completed, we're going to be able to go ahead and have them do all these different behaviors that they weren't able to do before. And they're going to run and climb and interact with each other, and it's going to be much more enriching. The extra special benefit is that it's a dynamic enrichment system, so we're going to be able to move parts of it around. We're going to be able to add additions as we can. It should change over time, which is going to be extra fun for them. So it's a really big, modern, and forward-thinking concept in the zoo world, and I really appreciate you guys getting all this work done for us.
Thank you, Adam.
And I'm here with one of our volunteers, youth volunteers, Ryland. Hello, Ryland. So why did you pick this amazing project?
I chose this amazing project because when I was younger, I used to come here a lot, and I thought it was a great time. It was really fun. So I thought it was a really cool opportunity to be able to give back to Bluebird Gap Farm, and it was just a really cool opportunity.
Thank you, Ryland. I'm Chelsea, reporting live from Bluebird Gap Farm. Now back to the studio.
Thanks, Bree and Chelsea. Wow, what a great opportunity for young people to use real-world maths and engineering skills and create an awesome play structure for some of these adorable farm animals. Stay tuned for more from our roving reporters. We'll be back after this brief commercial break.
Hi, I'm Hema, and I chose YVC because of the amazing community and the organization that provides many opportunities for me to make a legacy in my community.
My name is Zimri. I've been volunteering for 3 or 4 years. The reason why I like volunteering is because it's fun, it's a way to get out the house, a good way to make friends, and I know that I'm really helping out in the community.
All right, my name is Jordan, and I like to volunteer at YVC because I get to meet a lot of cool people.
Hey, I'm Max Bell. I chose YVC because it's a great organization that helps different smaller organizations like here, Bluebird Gap Farm.
Hi, my name's Connor. I've been with YVC for a few months now. I chose this project because I like animals and I like helping animals.
Hi, I'm Gavin, and I chose this project because I like animals and I also like building things.
Hello, my name is Kayla, and you should volunteer with YVC because it feels good to know that you made an impact on the community.
And we're back. I just love that video. I mean, Katie and I could tell you all day long the impact that YVC has on youth, but it's just way more powerful to hear it right from them.
Agreed.
Again, I'm Kimberly Moore, Program Director for YVCHR.
And I'm Katie Morgan, Executive Director for YVCHR.
And we want to thank you again for being with us today for this Serve-a-Thon event. Before we start sharing more inspiring stories and news of exciting service projects, we want to give another shout out to some of our donors. Richard Swain, who donated on that little link there that's ticking across the screen, the YVCHR.org/donate. He donated from there. And we also had another donation, Beth Bronner, on a fundraising page on Facebook. So we want to give you guys a huge shout out and thanks for all of that. We appreciate your generosity more than you know. And we also want to give a shout out to our terrific youth volunteers, Finn, Bree, and Chelsea, for their wonderful reporting at Bluebird Gap Farm, one of my favorite places to volunteer. Our CNU team leaders and parent volunteers, they were invaluable in supervising and instructing all the youth that had a hand in the construction of the playground. And an extra special shout out to Adam Newland and his staff for embracing YVC and, most importantly, trusting us on the farm with his goats and tools. It truly has been a big build, and we're nearly finished with the main structure, but there was a time during COVID when funding was an issue.
That's right, Kim. The Sunderland Foundation played a critical role in funding our big build projects. But with the unexpected increased cost of lumber, we had to be resourceful. And we were very fortunate that 84 Lumber came through for us with the stringer boards for the decking on that playground. So as you can imagine, our Goat City is a tiered structure, and having all of that lumber was super important to completing the project. Without grant funding and materials donations, we would not be able to even attempt a construction project as large as this one. That is why today is such a great opportunity for you to get involved. Visit YVCHR.org/donate to make your gift today. After you donate, head over to our virtual photo booth. This is really, really cool, and we want to see all kinds of pictures popping up. You can access that link from our website, YVCHR.org, or see the website on our banner below. It is a tiny URL. You can pop that into your phone or your laptop and snap away, make it fun, pose, share, just show your support for YVCHR in our virtual photo booth.
Y'all, and it is super easy to do. I am not super tech savvy, but I figured out how to do it. Just gonna take a picture of yourself. You can play with the background. You can play with the little hashtags and stickers, and it's super fun. So just go over there and just do it and say that you donated it and share it.
Love it. And also, this is really important. Don't forget that our event partner, Consumer Litigation Associates, is matching all donations up to $2,000 this week. So make your gift count twice and donate today.
Yeah, we really could not offer these kinds of projects where kids get the opportunity to step out of their comfort zones and learn real-world skills without funding. I mean, I know nothing about construction, and I've learned so much, and those types of opportunities wouldn't come around if we don't have the funding for it. And so that's why it's so important today. So that's one way to donate. But if you can't donate monetarily, because we know COVID has hit everybody really hard, there's still another great way to support YVCHR by simply voting for us. Mm-hmm. You see, we were recently recognized with a CK Excellence Award, along with 4 other local organizations. And of course, we want to win. So award recipients will receive a grant ranging from $1,000 to $3,000 just based on votes. So go visit that little link, www.communitynights.org/contest to vote today to ensure that YVCHR takes the top prize. Again, if you can't donate monetarily, that's okay. Just go vote for us and you can help us win.
And tell your friends, because they can vote too. So thanks, Kim. We sure do appreciate the generosity of those who have tuned in today. Whether contributing your time by hosting a watch party, which is really easy to do on Facebook, or making a donation, every bit of support helps us continue advancing our mission. Particularly in these challenging times, it's important to know that YVCHR is committed to providing ongoing programming for youth volunteers.
And this summer in particular was even more challenging than last year's, or the year before, or the year before.
Oh, for sure. It was unprecedented. It was certainly challenging, but it was also super satisfying and really successful. So I'm happy to report that we modified our Summer of Service camp sessions to ensure the safety of our youth volunteers, our host sites, and their clients. So instead of hosting the typical 20 campers per 4-day session, we only accepted 8 youth per 4-day session, and we hosted most of our projects outdoors. And of course, we enforced strict PPE and social distancing in accordance with CDC guidelines. But even though we were forced to operate at reduced capacity due to the pandemic, these youth volunteers certainly made a big impact.
They sure did. How about we take a look?
All right. So our Summer of Service started in June, and we had youth volunteers who were more than willing to mask up and open their hearts to hands-on projects. We started at Bluebird Gap Farm. We actually cleared, and this is kind of funny and very fitting and timely, we cleared a field so they could have a quarantine area for their animals that are new to the farm before they are introduced to their new habitat mates. And so that was a lot of work, and then the youth also enjoyed just interacting with the animals and having opportunities to help in the barn and feed the ducks, but that was not without a lot of work volunteering to make the farm more ready for those animals that they want to introduce to the flock. So we have the Parkview Community Garden here. You've heard a little bit about that, but this is the bounty that we were able to produce over the summer: beans, squash, cucumbers, and then our big build project back in August. This is Sleep in Heavenly Peace. You can see that we did have to move indoors, but we were super spread out and making sure that those beds were completed so that they could be delivered to children before Christmas. Everybody had a hands-on role, got to operate different equipment, got to understand the process of making beds from raw lumber. And then, of course, one of our huge partners, you're going to hear more from them later, the food bank. We visited the food bank with our Summer of Service participants, and they were just in such need of not only donations, but also the volunteers to pack boxes of food for families who have found themselves in greater need than ever before due to the pandemic. Another organization that supports individuals who are facing food insecurity is So All May Eat, also known as SAME. And our youth volunteers prepped food and then also served that food along with the groceries at Hampton Baptist Church. And it was just a really great way to have them work in the background, but then also provide that direct contact with the community members. This is another great one. Fear to Freedom. Our youth volunteers package freedom kits for victims of sexual assault, and just learned, just the value of providing hope to someone in a great time of darkness. We provided construction opportunities. These are some of the raised garden boxes that we've been building over at Parkview Community Garden, just making sure that youth volunteers are understanding the math and the engineering that goes into constructing even basic items, but that those items can create great value, especially when gardening and doing some intensive gardening, which they're learning. This is the bounty that we delivered to Peninsula Rescue Mission, and that's where we donate those vegetables that we're growing from the community garden.
And that was like such a cool summer session. I mean, it was very challenging to try and plan and organize with everything outside and trying to keep everybody socially distanced and wearing masks. But I think you're right. It was incredibly rewarding just to see all the pictures and to see everything that the kids got to do that perhaps they wouldn't have gotten to do in previous years. Let's talk a little bit about really quick, maybe some of those organizations that we really wanted to help this year, but because of COVID, we weren't able to, and the ones that the kids were really wanting to, to serve at, but we couldn't because of COVID.
Sure. Yeah. The greatest challenges that we've faced are maintaining relationships and being able to continue service to the organizations who serve the most vulnerable. Typically, we engage youth volunteers on a weekly basis with Special Olympics through their Special Olympics bowling program that is currently suspended. So bowlers aren't, or the Special Olympians are just really being very careful during this time. And our youth volunteers who are always looking for opportunities to serve with those athletes are just waiting for things to open up again so that we can do more Special Olympics bowling. Similar projects with the Tidewater Autism Society, just a phenomenal organization here in the 757. They just provide amazing respite programs and teaching programs and all kinds of resources for families who have children with autism. And the great partnership that we have is that we get to activate youth volunteers at their respite nights. And that includes going to bounce houses, and our youth volunteers have a buddy that they stay with for the whole night to give parents that time just to kind of decompress and know that their child is well cared for and having a great time while they go out to dinner or run some errands. And so they also do that at Rebounders, and we have not been able to see them since March. Kids Night is another one, and that's through the One Child Center for Autism. We love the opportunity to go up to the Williamsburg Indoor Sports Complex once a month and, partner again with a buddy and spend that evening providing a respite experience for the parents and a fun night for the children who are in that program. I'm sure everybody can understand why we can't visit convalescence centers, any type of retirement community. So Kim, why don't you talk a little bit about the projects that we would typically host at the Gardens at Work Forest?
Yeah, so the Gardens of Warwick Forest, generally in the summertime, we would go and we would serve and make crafts with the residents that are there. And the kids really liked working with those particular, playing bingo especially. They love bingo. Handing out, calling the numbers. They really had enjoyed that. And since we couldn't this year go and serve there due to COVID, we tried to kind of work around that and do things for them remotely. So we began a project called, and you might find out about it a little bit later, it's the Pen Pal Project, and it is a completely virtual monthly project where we paired kids up with residents at the Gardens of Warwick Forest, and every month we will either make a craft or we also have them write letters once a month, and then the residents will write them back. And it's just a really cool way for them the residents to be in touch with someone outside of their circle within Gardens of Warwick Forest. And it's really cool for the kids to be able to talk to someone that they wouldn't normally talk to.
Absolutely. And, just again, it's about connections. It's about combating loneliness and isolation and just making sure that not only do our youth feel like they are being helpful in this time of great need, but that the residents at the Gardens at Work Forest are feeling like somebody cares and that there's extra effort being made to reach out in this time of great isolation. So this might be a great time. I'm going to throw our production staff a little curveball. This might be a great time to show you some of our virtual projects while we wait for our next interviewee. So I'm going to see if they can cue that up, and we'll talk you through some of the virtual projects that we've hosted since March. So March, of course, was when everything happened. That's when the world essentially shut down. We decided that if we couldn't be in person, we were going to host some virtual projects, and we do some fun icebreakers just like we typically would at our in-person projects. You can see here we were playing Pass the Pencil, and just the feedback was amazing. Our youth volunteers were so happy to just be connecting with other youth in their peer group, but the guest speakers I think are really the icing on the cake. Just the people who were so willing to take time out of their day to speak to our youth volunteers, to help them gain a better understanding of what that crisis is looking like in their work and how it's affecting their clients and what we can do to stand in the gap. Even, these read along story time sessions that our volunteers created and posted on YouTube. We actually use that as a service learning lesson to talk about copyright. We had a lawyer join us, and he shared with them the right and wrong ways to read stories and post them online. You know, you have to get permission from publishers. We had a guest speaker from the SPCA who talked to the youth about, you know, the importance of fostering animals and making sure that they have enrichment items. Just like humans, when we feel isolated and alone, we need to be doing things to keep our mind stimulated. And so our youth volunteers made recycled t-shirt, oh my goodness, recycled toys from t-shirts for the dogs. And you can see we amassed quite a collection and donated those to the SPCA. Notes of encouragement, still important, always important, but especially for our healthcare workers. And that's not just the doctors and nurses, it's the environmental team who is cleaning and sanitizing constantly. We, you know, really focus on the service learning part of this so that youth can develop empathy and really kind of understand the gravity of what the healthcare workers are experiencing each and every day. The food bank, as we mentioned, they are desperately in need of donations of food, but also needing volunteers to help get that food out into the community. So we taught youth about, you know, what that food struggle is like and how they can help. So through advocacy, through donating, and through volunteering. We also did some career exploration, which is really fun. Through the DeBruce Foundation, we were able to connect their service to the world of work. And of course, our seedlings project, where youth volunteers received seed kits. They worked from home to grow these beautiful seedlings that we later transplanted at the community garden for our first in-person project after staying remote. This is an author, Paige Skinner, who met with our Adventures in Volunteering youth volunteers who are writing their own children's stories. And then you can see that illustration in the middle picture. Our youth volunteers also illustrated their stories, and we're hoping to have that compiled and printed soon. We did cat toys. Again, we don't want to just favor the canines. We want to make sure our feline friends also have some toys to play with. And our youth volunteers made those out of just common household items. We also partnered with Bayport Credit Union for some financial literacy lessons. And we just encouraged youth to think about how they can start saving today and budgeting today so that they can become philanthropists of tomorrow. It was just really fun to connect with everybody. It felt good to know that we could still empower youth, even though we were behind our screens like we are today. So, you know, from March to mid-June, we offered at least 2 service projects online per week. And it was just a huge pivot for us. I think it took us out of our comfort zone, but now it's become a staple. It's something that I think we will definitely continue doing. And you know, what's really interesting, we have lamented for years that the #1 barrier to service for youth volunteers in our program is transportation. You know, there are a lot who can carpool. We have our school clubs, which obviously provides a great access point for youth volunteers who want to participate in our programs. We're going to hear from a school club sponsor in just a little bit, but transportation can really be that, you know, the wrench that kind of throws it all out of whack if a youth volunteer wants to participate but can't get to a project. And especially now during COVID, we aren't even able to offer rides or carpool or things like that. So it's great that we can do the, you know, service in this virtual space. So it is here to stay. We're obviously excited that we can do some things in person right now with some strict modifications, and we're looking forward to having those modifications lifted eventually for in-person projects. But I know for certain that we will continue offering virtual projects. It's also been really great to engage with our school clubs virtually. So you're going to, again, hear more about that in just a little while. We do have our next interviewee ready. So I want to go ahead and transition to our next guest. And so you've seen a little bit, hi. You've seen a little bit about our Summer of Service, our virtual projects, and that really is a great segue into talking with Miss Tracy Hansbrough from the Virginia Peninsula Food Bank. So hi, Tracy.
Good morning. How is everybody?
Oh my gosh, we're good. The sun is up and we're like going strong, had extra coffee.
Nice. I'm definitely missing the warm weather from yesterday.
Right. We had an abrupt shift, and I think the wind brought in the cold temps. But I'm under some like serious lighting right now. So if you want to come, wear a mask and snuggle up with me, you are more than welcome. And you all serve through every season, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, whether it's raining. You have done drive-through food distributions where residents in the Hampton Roads area can come to you, and you all put the food directly in the trunk of their car, so it's no contact. You're doing all kinds of things outside of the box, just like we are here at YVCHR.
Right.
But you're also doing things really safe in person, and so we felt like it was such a wonderful experience for us to know that we could activate youth in person, do it safely, and give them that in-person experience right there at the food bank. And so we're going to talk a little bit about those moments where we've been able to partner either at the food bank, also the Mayflower food drive, which just happened recently. So, so I'm going to lob my first question over to you before I talk right through your interview, which I could easily do. As a longtime partner of YVCHR, how have our youth volunteers impacted your work at the food bank?
So, many ways. You guys come in and do in-person volunteering. You are doing can structure. Even this year when we couldn't do actual can structure, we did it just on a really small scale. Those cans are just helpful. You guys did your own drive-through food drive. We partnered with a local business to do that. We built the structure. We took it down. You guys come in and help us pack. Without people coming in to help us pack, we wouldn't be able to distribute the amount of food that we do. So you guys are all around committed to what we do, whether it's food drives or volunteering.
Yeah, we just recognize that food is an important aspect of survival and for thriving. And, without the work that you all do, families across Hampton Roads would be struggling more than we are right now in the middle of this pandemic. And there are more people now who find themselves in need of support, trying to stretch, their paychecks and finding themselves to be in a place of food insecurity that they haven't experienced before. And so we absolutely value your work, and we love to walk alongside you in your mission. You mentioned a smaller scale can structure. What we want to do is kind of demystify for our viewers who don't understand can structure what can structure is all about. So let's take a quick pause from our interview. We're going to show them a video from the 2019 can structure competition, and then we'll come back to our interview together, and they can kind of get a good feel for how schools, now these are school teams who are in K through 5, middle and high school levels that organize teams. They do food drives, and then they bring all of their donations to Patrick Henry Mall, and they build a structure. So this is a STEM event. So we're focusing on those science, technology, engineering, and math skills, but also through the vehicle of service, where they are learning about food insecurity. They are making sure they understand that their can structure is actually going to go help feed families in Hampton Roads. And of course, there's always a trophy involved. So let's roll that beautiful footage. All right. Gosh, I love these videos. I get kind of like wrapped up in them, and then I realize
I know.
So now that everyone has seen the scope of that can structure event, Tracy, what does the can structure competition mean for the food bank each year in terms of both increasing awareness of food insecurity issues and generating critical food donations?
So last year in the 2019 can structure, it was about 32,000 cans that we received and were able to bring back here and distribute to families throughout the greater peninsula. Awareness, we're at the mall. You know, we're at the mall. It's got food bank on it. People ask questions. They see what's going on. It's an event on Saturday. We're there so that people that are coming through the mall just can see and realize that help is needed.
Yeah, and we were able to do a smaller version of that, as you mentioned earlier. So the pictures you see here are our youth advisory board members and some other youth volunteers in our program who entered into a can structure competition with other YVC affiliates from across the network. And our network spans Canada and the United States. So we decided that, you know, we would keep it small this year. We would be socially distant. We would host that food drive, as you mentioned. We partnered with a local business for a drive-through food drive. We still built that structure at Patrick Henry Mall, again, to increase visibility around that issue of food insecurity and to make a statement that, you know, we can come together, we can collect food, we can tell people about the important work that the food bank does in case people aren't aware of that and they need that support. And then if we can advance to the next slide. So this is almost done with the structure. It's obviously a time-intensive project, but our youth volunteers collected over 1,000 cans for this project and donated those to the food bank. But again, that message that they were able to tell through that can structure was that we can get through this together. And so let's go to that next photo. So we were so thrilled that our youth volunteers designed something that was just so powerful in the message that it delivers to the community in terms of all of those, you know, essential workers kind of holding up the world, you know, just this idea of like, we're going to come together, we're going to support, you know, everyone as we get through this pandemic. And so we had healthcare workers featured. The gal in the purple shirt is in the food industry. So we have different pictures around her indicating, you know, food services. And then the next slide. And this is our educators, you know, just that important work that educators are doing. Again, another big pivot, making sure that students are still learning and engaged in their education. And then the fourth side was nonprofit workers and just how nonprofit organizations really do stand in the gap. And so, you know, we value so much the work that you do, and we love the opportunity to help you at any opportunity. But also, we recently started a new project where we volunteer with you all, and we partner with Catholic charities so that we can reserve a certain number of volunteer spaces for refugee students. So students in middle or high school who are new to our country and they're refugees who are trying to, you know, build their English language skills, but also build their peer network. And so that's been a really awesome experience for our youth volunteers and for those students, but that they are also packing those boxes that you all, you know, are getting out into the community. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about the, gosh, I forgot what they're called, the boxes, the care boxes for individuals who are self-isolating after a COVID test. I know we were there packing boxes for that program.
Right. So we actually, they're called Centera We Care Boxes. We pack them here. They are full of non-perishable items, and we use them to distribute at COVID test sites. So we have partnered with a group, and then they call us and they're like, we're having a COVID test. So then they're able to give those out at those sites. Getting food out in the community, because people don't really want to talk about it. So whatever avenues we're able to distribute food to people who might need it, especially if you're on isolation because you just got a COVID test, you know, you might not you might not be getting paid or able to go to work or, things like that. So we just want to be able to recognize those things to make sure that those families have food and access to food as well.
Absolutely.
Just the need is changed. People's circumstance, not necessarily, income has changed, but a lot of it's circumstance, just an entire family being at home versus not being at home, greater expenses, more food eaten,
Right.
all of those things, where before that would have, you get up, you go to work, you pack your lunch, and now everybody is at home. And we all know when we're at home, we visit the refrigerator much more often.
So true. So true. And what's really great is when we were focusing on food insecurity and really the service learning aspect of our delivery model, we took an entire session of our virtual project to talk to youth about, the role of the food bank and how they can get involved as advocates. Because sometimes the best thing we can do is to share to spread the word. And so we hosted a food bank advocacy project virtually, and those students made signs for their front yard. They made public service announcements. They made Instagram posts. We had some youth who hosted their own virtual food drive. So it was really great to see that they can learn the variety of ways that they can support other nonprofit organizations and fill great needs in our community.
Agreed. Advocacy is a huge thing. Just people knowing about resources that are in their community.
Absolutely. And one of YVCHR's beliefs is that we serve as a conduit to service and work to connect youth, and we work to connect youth to important work that other nonprofits are doing in the community. As a gateway to long-term volunteer placements, do you have any youth volunteers you can think of who have found a volunteer outlet with the food bank because of their experience with YVCHR?
Yeah, I mean, we have a couple. So Tyler, he volunteers here on a regular, and it's just nice to see people. They still come back with YVC in YVC groups, but be able to find a way to be able to volunteer here, on their own. And just even when we did the drive-through food drive, and we were out there and we were just talking to some of the youth, just talking about like being here and just coming in and volunteering and understanding, like when we pack our backpack bags that go out to elementary school students, they were just like, the amount, during the school year, we send out about 1,500 of those a week. And they were just like, it's able to put it as a more realization, like it becomes more personal. And I think that's what makes them grow as volunteers.
Right. And it's actually one of the most heartwarming things for us as an organization that connects youth to service opportunities when we find out or when they tell us that, oh, I'm a regular volunteer at the food bank now, or, oh, I'm a regular volunteer at the Virginia Living Museum right now. And it's funny because sometimes the reaction from our host sites who are volunteer coordinators, they'll say, oh, I'm so sorry. I feel like I'm poaching your volunteers. And we're saying, oh my gosh, no, we are a gateway to, making sure youth find their niche in the community. So we want, it's like bless and release. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Come to YVC, explore a variety of service options. And if you find that organization that speaks to your heart and where you feel like you can give your talents,
then go with it.
Yep. Then that is absolutely what we want.
So no, you guys are awesome. I mean, you guys are just huge supporters and advocates for what we do. And some of our partners as well, working with them as well, helping them distribute food.
Well, we do appreciate you so much. And I know it will be a continued partnership. We definitely already have something on the schedule for this month, and we'll continue to put you on the schedule regularly moving forward, and especially through our summer of service. So thank you so much, Tracy. I know you're super busy, so we're going to let you get back to all the important work that you're doing and give our best to everyone over at the food bank.
I sure will.
All right. Thank you. So the food bank plays a critical role in providing food to those in need, which is especially true this year, as so many find themselves out of work and out of school, making it difficult to have enough to eat. So we appreciate the food bank for ceaselessly providing for the members of our community who experience food insecurity. Everyone at the food bank is a hero in our book. We certainly wish them all the best as they continue to navigate this tricky pandemic. And again, we will be there later this month with our youth volunteers. So let's cut to our next segment.
Hello, I'm Jaden Moore, reporting from the YVCHR Mobile Studio. Thank you for joining us for this special event, Youth Volunteer Corps of Hampton Roads Serve-a-Thon. For those who aren't familiar with YVC, we are an organization here in Hampton Roads that creates and connects meaningful service opportunities for youth between the ages of 11 and 18. By offering a variety of projects throughout the year, middle and high school students can volunteer at projects on weekends and evenings, or even participate in an intensive summer session. There are even YVC clubs in middle and high schools across Hampton Roads, hosted by an amazing teacher who have embraced the YVC framework and are committed to making YVC opportunities accessible to their students. In exciting news, a new mobile app was just launched last month as a high-tech resource for school club members and leaders. Let's hear from one of our YVC club sponsors who is standing by to share with you what schools and clubs are doing to engage students during this remote time of learning.
Thanks, Jaden. I am here with one of my favorite people, Linda Craven from Hines Middle School. She is one of our YVC club sponsors. So welcome, Linda.
Hi, how are you?
We're doing great. We are in full live stream mode and just super excited for everybody who's tuning in, and especially grateful to you for taking some time out of your day to talk a little bit about school clubs. So my first question is, how long have you been a YVC club sponsor?
I've been a YVC club sponsor for 3 years.
And we are so grateful for that, because over 3 years, you can touch so many students and really provide that access point to YVC, like I talked about in an earlier segment. Our schools play such an important role because not every youth volunteer can get to projects on the evening or in the evenings and on the weekends. They may be involved in other extracurricular activities. There may be issues with transportation. They have family members who work in the evenings, and they just can't access the projects that we offer on a regular basis throughout the year. So that club gives them the opportunity to stay after school when we're in a normal school year and ride that activity bus home. And so now we're in this pandemic and things are a little different, but you're still hosting a school club. So what do you feel are the benefits of having a YVC club for your students at your school?
Having a YVC club, it builds a bridge to impactful volunteer opportunities. It's like the ultimate win-win situation. The students gain exposure to those activities. The community can benefit from it. It's just ultimate win-win.
And, you know, it's when I think about the schools kind of being, you know, that access point, I realized that we would miss out on providing that opportunity to a lot of youth volunteers if it weren't for people like you who are willing to put in the extra time and effort after school on top of an already busy workload to make sure that youth understand the value of service and understand their value in the community, that, you know, you can be a middle school student and still make an impact. But the service learning is super important as well. And it's just, you know, them understanding the needs so that they can then decide what they want to do or what they can do and how they can make an impact. So why is it important for your club to continue meeting virtually? And is it as challenging as you thought it would be?
I think it's important for us to continue, even though it is a little challenging, because I think it's important for students to feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves. And it's not as it's challenging, but it's not, because you all make it so easy. The support you all offer is so much appreciated and needed, and that's what makes it a little bit easier. But as far as having access to the students online, that's a little challenging, because I'm used to running through the hallways and saying, oh, we're going to meet today. And I don't have that right now. Now I'm just hoping they see my Canvas classroom, and I've started a classroom just for YVC. And so I'm sending out announcements, letting them know we're meeting, just like we have a meeting today. And I'm hoping they see it, and I hope they come and participate with us today for our activity with the SPCA today.
Yes, and the really cool thing that you mentioned is that you have created a classroom in Canvas, which is the new platform that a lot of school divisions are using to make sure that the curriculum is accessible to students in all of their subjects, but that you can make that available to them for YVC Club. And we, as an organization, have also embarked on the creation of our own app. So for schools that aren't using Canvas, or for club sponsors who want a different format, or just need to streamline communications, we are using our new YVC mobile app. You can see on the screen that it provides some different functionality. But one of the items that Mrs. Craven mentioned is just communicating. And when you don't have students physically in the building with you, it's hard to kind of, hey, guess what? We have our meeting today. Or, hey, don't forget, we're going to be in room 206 instead of the library. But through our app, we can actually schedule meetings, and you can see we have our Hines Middle School Club meeting scheduled today, and that's going to be something that they'll receive a reminder about, and I can also send them push notifications. So we are really just trying to stay in line with the technology that is needed to navigate the pandemic and to ensure that our youth who access our programs through clubs are also still connected and getting the communications they need so that they know to tune in this afternoon for a club meeting. And we are going to make those recycled dog toys, right?
Yes.
All right. So if you could give one word of encouragement, this is a bonus question, so you weren't prepared for this one. If you could give one word of encouragement to your fellow teachers, educators, counselors out there who have either hosted a YVC club in the past or have always wanted to and kind of are teetering on the edge of trying to pull it off during a pandemic, what would be your words of encouragement to them?
I would encourage them to please do their best to give students an avenue. Students or young people are so curious, and then they have their energy. So it's important for us to keep them engaged, to give them opportunities so they can explore those curiosities in a safe environment. And just do your best, and whatever you do, the young people, they really do appreciate it. So
yes, well, we appreciate you for sure. And I will say that before my time as the executive director here, I was a school club sponsor at my former school at Dozier Middle School, and before that, Denby High School, which is what led me to, be in the role that I am here now today. But looking back on those days as a club sponsor, it really gives you an opportunity to see your students in a different light. So if you teach a specific subject, or if you're used to, as the counselor mediating conflicts or doing classroom guidance, or, all the different roles that we play as educators, it really is amazing to get to interact with your students in a different way, and for them to see you also in a different role. And so there's just this really great opportunity to kind of build relationships, but also expand the impact that you can have with students.
Yes.
So we appreciate you so much. Thank you for joining us today, and I will see you later this afternoon for our virtual project and your YVC club meeting.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Linda.
Wow, I'm Jaden Moore, and we're back in our mobile studio after hearing from one of our inspiring YVC Club sponsors. It is so great to see that YVC provides the structure, support, and supervision to safely and effectively facilitate these educational experiences while activating young people in service to the community. Did you know that YVC also tracks all of our youth volunteer service hours from the time they join until they graduate? There are so many other great aspects of YVC, including our annual YVC Summit, where we travel to a host city for a weekend of service, learning, and fun with our other YVC affiliates from across the United States and Canada. Youth volunteers have traveled to Philadelphia, Charleston, and Kansas City with plans for the next summit to be held in New York City, post-pandemic. So, as you can see, Youth Volunteer Corps is so much more than just a service club. is a youth development organization that teaches career readiness and life skills through coordinated volunteer experiences. Participants develop empathy, self-confidence, cross-cultural competencies, and broaden perspectives through intentional service learning activities. Let's hear from some parents who are standing by to share what YVC has done for their children.
Hello, my name is Janae Valerio. My daughter is Taya Valerio. During Taya's first volunteer experience, she did it at one of the nursing homes, and she said there was one of the residents that had come to her booth, her station, and she didn't want to participate. She was kind of sad and withdrawn. And Taya, tried to talk to her, try to get her engaged, and she didn't budge. And then finally, maybe a few minutes into the craft, my husband just died, and Taya was kind of taken aback, and she was like, I didn't know how to respond. I didn't know what to do, still being new to the experience of volunteering. So she kind of took that to heart, and then she came home, we kind of talked about it, and she was like, I like it. I realize that people have real world experiences, life experiences, and she was like, this is something that I want to do. I want to be able to help. Since then, she was a little intimidated, but since then she has grown so much. She was kind of shy and reserved coming in, but now her personality has grown. I've seen so much growth from when she first started to now, and now she's working with the kids with autism. She loves it. This is a great experience for her.
Hi, my name is George Morris. My son, Grayson Morris, has been participating with Youth Volunteer Corps of Hampton Roads for 2 years. We are from Norfolk, Virginia, and we make the trek over to the peninsula to impact lives. Grayson has had the opportunity to demonstrate leadership. He's been able to provide an example for other youth as to how youth in our community can impact the community, how a single individual can be impactful to a community. Grayson has grown in a variety of ways. He's met some incredible people, both youth and adults. And again, he's been able to experience firsthand exactly what his involvement does for a community.
Hi, my name is David. I've been working with YVC for the last 6 years, starting with my son, who's now in college, and now my daughter, who's now in middle school. We love YVC. We just got lucky and found YVC, didn't know anything about it. We had a friend that did it, and then we've loved it ever since. I think it's a great program. The things that stand out for me in this program are that it's so highly organized, and the motivation by the mentors and the teenagers that are a part of it are second to none, and it's a huge opportunity for everybody involved. My son to this day still cites Katie as one of his mentors, and she's been so influential and helpful for him, and we love it. So hopefully it keeps going, and although I don't have any more kids, I still push everybody to go to YVC.
Hi, my name is Rock. My son Max, who's 14, has been with YVC for about 3 or 4 years. Max has learned so much with this program. I mean, we're so fortunate as a family to have a lot of things that others don't. And having Max involved in YVC has enabled him not only to, provide service to others, but also to actually put names with faces and see the people that he's helping. It really helps him empathize with those who are less fortunate. The other thing that YVC has really been great at is helping Max develop into more of a leader. He's on the youth board for YVC, and he's grown to get to know Katie and the other staff members really well, and he really looks forward to these service projects.
Wow, those were just some super impactful testimonies. And I have to say, it's really beautiful and inspiring to see our youth volunteers grow and develop in ways they might not have had they not volunteered with YVC. And sure, like a lot of youth join because for like different reasons, from having to complete a service requirement for school or college applications, or even because their parents made them. But when the youth are open to it, service can really change them in ways they never anticipated. We've also found that many who joined out of necessity later return out of a desire to impact their community. And man, this has been such a busy morning. Didn't Jaden do a great job? Our mobile news desk anchors, Finn and Max and Jaden, really showed up, and we are so grateful for their courage to go and do something like this and their professionalism.
They have all been terrific. Well, we hope you're enjoying the Serve-a-Thon experience as much as we are to see those donations coming in.
Yeah, I'd like to give a huge shout out to Donna Adkins for her generous donation. And just to update everybody on where we are so far, but first we're going to take a look at a couple of our photo booths. You can see some of us there, Katie and me, of course. You know, we had to just show everybody how you can do it, but we've got a couple of our team leaders on there. We got my mom on there and dad. So that's really awesome to see. So you guys can see how you can go and utilize the photo booth. You just click the link for the photo booth in the comment section, and you can go, you can play with it and have a good time. Just, you can play with the backgrounds and the hashtags and stickers and all that kind of stuff. So super easy to do. So you can donate, and then you can go and do that. And then again, our goal is to raise $5,000. And so we definitely need your help to do that. So you can go to the scrolling link across the bottom, hashtag Giving Tuesday at yvchr.org/donate. And so far we are up to, based on our website and Facebook, we are at $579 so far. So we've got a long way to go, but we've got a great start, and we're going to be accepting donations all day long.
Yes, and your support will not only help fill budget gaps created by the ever-evolving pandemic, which has canceled fundraising events, and also this might be something that people haven't necessarily had to think about, but sometimes in a world crisis, funds are redirected to frontline organizations, which makes absolute perfect sense, but it does cause us to kind of have to rethink some of our funding streams. And your support today will sustain us through the upcoming year as we continue to navigate the road ahead.
Absolutely. So again, don't forget to visit our virtual photo booth, and please like, comment, and share this live stream to help us to reach others. Again, we're going to post the recording of this live stream on our website, to Facebook and YouTube. In the meantime, don't forget that donations this week will be matched up to $2,000 by our event partner, Consumer Litigation Associates.
Oh, yes.
Mouthful.
So we are super excited to have a matching gift from Consumer Litigation Associates, up to $2,000. They are an amazing law firm that believes in making a difference in cases they take on and the work that they do. Their lawyers have been recognized as the top consumer protection advocates in the nation, receiving awards such as the Consumer Lawyer of the Year, Super Lawyers, America's Best Lawyers, and Virginia Leaders in the Law. In 2019, CLA was selected as the National Law Journal's Elite Trial Lawyers winner and the Virginia State Bar's top pro bono law firm. They have played a critical role with the Poverty Law Center, giving voice to the most vulnerable who have been victimized by fraud. Thank you, CLA, for your dedication to helping others and empowering youth. And if I could go off script, I also want to highlight the fact that not only do we have incredible business partners, but we also have the incredible support of people like Lakeisha Mosley. So she is backstage and has been orchestrating this amazing live feed from Houston. She is an event strategist, a digital event strategist, and is just phenomenal. We appreciate her more than we could ever express adequately. And then the other cool thing, we mentioned that we have Bonner Service Scholars. That was at the beginning of our live stream today. We talked about the team leaders that we activate at our service projects who are undergraduates at Christopher Newport University. And they are part of the Bonner Service Scholars program through the Center for Community Engagement. And one of them has a knack for photography. And so all of the footage that you're seeing today has been taken by one of our Bonner Service Scholars, Brandon. And so we are super grateful for the professional quality of this live stream, which we could never have attained by ourselves. So through the amazing talents of Lakeisha Mosley, and visit her website, the lmexperience.com, and also with the amazing talents of Brandon, we are just beyond grateful because this is a totally different space for us. And we could never have done it without them. So a huge shout out to Consumer Litigation Associates, again, our matching gift, our event partner for this Serve-a-Thon, and just the people who you won't see today, but who deserve recognition, Lakeisha Mosley and Brandon Davis.
Yes, thank you to all of them, CLA, Lakeisha, Brandon. I mean, phenomenal job and such generosity from CLA. So again, don't forget to donate because it's going to be matched up to $2,000. And our goal today is to raise $5,000. It's going to help us buy program materials, do more construction types of projects. I mean, so many different things that we need your help with. So
absolutely.
Now that we have heard from some of the projects, a few of our partner agencies and parents, who is next, Katie?
Ooh, I've been super excited about the next two guests. Obviously, I love all of our interviewees for today, but there's just nothing like reconnecting with some graduated YVC volunteers. So it's now time to hear from some of our YVCHR alumni who are joining us for our live stream event today. Nikayla and Andrew are some of the earliest volunteers to participate with our organization. Now, we were founded back in 2009. So if you do some math and you think about middle school, high school, college, okay, so it's been quite a few years since graduation and really since they started volunteering with YVCHR, but they're here to share the impact that Youth Volunteer Corps of Hampton Roads has made on their lives. Welcome, Nikayla and Andrew. So great to see you.
Hi. Hello. It's good to be with you.
So in a million years, would you have ever guessed that this would be how we are connecting today? You know, thinking back on the other events that we've been able to host, live stream is just a whole new thing for YVCHR.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Well, we appreciate so much that you are joining us here virtually, and just have a few questions for you. So the first question is for both of you. What's your most significant takeaway from your time with YVCHR? And I'm going to let Nikayla go first.
My most significant takeaway is everything I basically and overall what I've learned from it. And like YVC definitely played a big part into like my characteristics. Like I wouldn't be the same person I was without YVC because I've been volunteering with YVC so long, since I was 10. And so like it's basically what I made me today and why I chose what I chose. And so my biggest takeaway is definitely just all the characteristics that you learn from doing the activities and just volunteering around the community.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And Andrew, how about you? A significant takeaway from your YVCHR experience?
Yes, thank you. YVC is like such a great organization, and there's so many to think about. But I think one of the biggest things I learned was just the ability to collaborate with many people. So being able to coordinate both with directors and supervisors of our program and get to observe like how projects were organized, but also being able to come together with different students from like all backgrounds and just it's like such a big club, right? So instead of just being in your school, like you really get introduced to a larger organization and really appreciating like the big picture things and ultimately embracing just working together to help so many different areas and people in our community.
Absolutely. I still have some very vivid memories of Nikayla at Special Olympics bowling. And I know we'll talk a little bit about Andrew as a team leader in just a little bit. So, you know, it is really powerful to think that you all started as middle school students and, you know, that there's just this impact that is still, you know, imprinted on our minds and that you absolutely had that impact on the individuals you were serving and leading. So how do your current career pursuits tie into your experiences with YVCHR?
Well, my major is social work, so that definitely ties into volunteering and serving. YVC is what made me choose social work, and it's because I wanted to do something that I'm passionate about, and I know something I'm passionate about is serving and always helping others. I've always been that way. YVC just made me realize it, and so I definitely chose social work so I could continue volunteering in a way, and just making my life kind of geared towards making other people's lives better, which is volunteering, which is all that, what's all that about.
My career choice has been to pursue a path in medicine. I'm currently thinking about working either as an emergency doctor, as well as in pediatrics or anesthesiology. And I think one of the overarching themes of medicine is developing empathy with others and really making sure that you're present with the people you're serving, because while there's a science and there's a really grounded art in helping people, part of that really is making sure you develop that connection and build that trust. And I think with YVC, being able to work both with patient populations as well as being able to just grow my understanding of my community, I really appreciate my time and how I've been able to come back to my community even as a graduate and be able to still look for ways that I can help with YVC. And so that's why I joined to be a team leader in 2019 and why I'm still continuing to serve with Mrs. Morgan and Mrs. Moore.
So tell us your graduation year. So Nikayla's been out a little shorter time, and then Andrew's been out a little longer time, just so you can get a feel for, where they are in their pursuits. So Nikayla, when did you graduate from high school?
Like 2018, 2017, that year.
Yep, 2017, 2018. Yes, because that was my first year here. And you were my first graduating class of Youth Advisory Board members. Yeah. So Andrew, when did you graduate high school?
I graduated in 2016, so a little bit earlier, but still I worked with Nikayla and we had some really great memories on the Youth Advisory Board, so it's been great.
Oh my gosh, that's the perfect segue to our next question. So you both were on our Youth Advisory Board. How did that help shape you as a leader?
Oh, that was a big shape for a leader, because prior to Youth Advisory Board and being on the board, I didn't have a leadership position in anything. And so, even in the future for like resumes for college and universities, it's like they always ask, what's an example of a leadership opportunity that you've been in? And that was like the only thing I was able to put on. So I was really grateful for the Youth Advisory Board. And it definitely shaped like my leadership skills today and just giving me some initiative, because the Youth Advisory Board was definitely big on shaping, giving us an opportunity to take initiative in certain things. And we were the voices, in a lot of ways, as in like coming up with different volunteer activities. Definitely from our perspective, it gave us a good outlook on it, because it was good to hear from people our age, because we're the ones out there, doing it. So it was good to get fresh minds on it. And I was grateful to have that opportunity.
Well, it's clear we made a good choice and having you on that Youth Advisory Board. You contributed a lot. And so, so Andrew, tell us your take on your Youth Advisory Board experience.
Yes, so Youth Advisory Board was a very big part of my high school career as well. I looked up to the people that were on the board before I was a member, including my older brother. And so it was very inspiring when it first got started to see that this was something where we could actively, as Nikayla say, we could plan the projects. We got to give feedback to our directors and be able to say, well, I think that we could really improve this project next year by being able to, expand our thought process, or to create even new ideas, such as new fundraisers or new projects that we worked with other populations of people in the hospitals or in assisted living homes, or fundraisers with the food bank. And so I really appreciate it as well. My time on the Youth Advisory Board, because when I got to college, you're kind of like flooded with all these different activity organizations, and you're trying to look for the one that rings true to you. But I think by being able to plan events at YVC, I really saw how flexible I was to be able to find opportunities, and how it was really just pretty cool to have that experience behind me and say, like, there's nothing too big for me to do. I clearly am confident in my abilities to, communicate with others, even if we've only met for the first time, and to really make projects that you can continue even after you've moved on.
Absolutely. And the things that I'm hearing from this are really important aspects of Youth Volunteer Corps of Hampton Roads. It's youth voice and ownership. So we love it when our youth volunteers can take ownership of their experience and kind of help steer that programming, as Andrew and Nikayla both mentioned, in terms of providing that input. And we love to empower youth, and we find that, when those leadership opportunities are available, it just provides an enormous opportunity for them to shine. But you have to give young folks like Nikayla and Andrew those opportunities, and that's what we look for. We look for ways to engage youth, but then to ratchet it up and make sure that they are being challenged and given that youth voice. So I'm curious, I have a question for Andrew and a question for Nikayla. Nikayla, what would be, if you could pick one project, what was your favorite project from your experience? Now, you started very young and you went all the way through high school. So you went 6th all the way through 12th. This might be a hard one to pick.
I don't think that was a very fair question, Katie.
I did not
She's got to think way back.
Which I, for some reason, think is really fun to do live.
It's not a hard. Well, it's definitely kind of hard because I've done so many, but the most memorable one I would say is Special Olympics bowling. I still take those skills with me today. No one can touch me, my bowling scores anymore. So every week, and it was just also great to see them. You build a bond with them over time, and you just conversate with them. And they beat you in bowling every time. Every time. But it was just great having conversations with them and building that bond and friendship. And I'll just never ever forget that whole experience. And I learned so much from them and just bowling with them. So it was great.
Awesome. Wow. Awesome. Oh gosh, we are eager to get back to the bowling lanes for sure. I think when everything associated with the pandemic is lifted, it will be so great. That will be, I think, our victorious moment of having survived this crazy pandemic, is just reconnecting with our Special Olympians and, the folks that we mentioned earlier, some of the more vulnerable populations that we unfortunately can't do in-person projects with, because it really, like Nikayla said, it just really is so gratifying to see youth building relationships with individuals across the community, all ages, all backgrounds, and especially those with special needs who just love having a buddy to do these awesome, fun things with. It's just really heartwarming. So here's a question for Andrew. Andrew, you more recently, you were a guest speaker on one of our virtual projects. We have certainly had to embrace this new mode of learning since March of this year, but can you tell us a little bit about that virtual project and your thoughts on this new way to serve remotely as we take a look at a few of our virtual projects, including the one you were a part of?
Yes, and so the virtual project I'm working, collaborating with Kim and our youth volunteers is the Pen Pal project that we have in collaboration with the Gardens at Warwick Forest. And so we're able to kind of stay communicated and connected with the residents at the Gardens of Warwick Forest. And I really appreciated how this project could really connect our community through both letters, as well as being able to find other ways that we can really develop deep connections with the people in our community. I think one of the biggest themes about this project is to counter isolation, which I think all of us to some extent are experiencing during this COVID-19 pandemic. And I think in medical treatment, it's very important to be able to be part of someone's support system and to really encourage them towards healing and towards having a positive outlook on life. And so I'm really thankful for the opportunity to team up. I really think that being virtual, while it's not the most optimal thing that we would want in this climate that we are in right now, I think that it's one of the best things that we can do, especially being able to still interact face to face. And I really think that it's a great modem for being able to have live interaction and for being able to really find ways to be creative in order to stay connected.
Absolutely. Well, we are so grateful that both of you have just stayed connected to YVCHR, even though you are adults now. So that word youth doesn't always mean that you can't stay involved. And so, Andrew, I'm going to throw you a bonus question, which is 2 summers ago, you came back to YVCHR as a team leader. What was it like coming back to lead other youth?
It was very inspiring because, from being able to work as a youth volunteer and then to carry my experiences when I mentored youth in college, I really appreciated how I always had this outlook of being like, I was there before. And I really appreciate how now I can be that role model to someone who wants to continue their journey in volunteering, or maybe who's curious about becoming a volunteer and maybe is stepping out of their comfort zone, maybe in a project that they've never done before, or maybe if they're more introverted, maybe just being learning to be more comfortable interacting with new people. And so being a role model, being a team leader was an experience that I was really looking forward to. And when serving with you and Kim, I really appreciated how our team was able to go to various projects each week and be able to really encourage our youth volunteers to kind of step out of their comfort zone. And from being able to work with the kids at the Cebaldo Scott Center for Hope and being able to do different games and crafts with them, as well as being able to meet with the residents at the Gardens of Warwick Forest and collaborate with the Peninsula Food Bank. I think all of these projects had a different aspect to them, and really, whether you were a previous volunteer before or you were a new volunteer, there was something new for you to explore and to discover and to reflect upon, which I also appreciate as a team leader, which is being able to share that insight with volunteers and be able to hear what they had to say and to really hear how that project, even that day, impacted them and how they had a new perspective going forward.
Absolutely. So we love it when our alumni come back and continue that service work through team leader roles. So one parting question, both of you had older siblings who served with YVCHR. So to all of our youth volunteers who are older brothers or sisters, in what way does their involvement in the community as volunteers help inspire the younger set? So how were you inspired by your older brother or your older sister?
I was inspired greatly. I think that was the sole reason I joined initially, because my older sister was in it. You know, when you're younger, you're like, oh, I want to do what they're doing. And
Right.
they're having fun, so I want to have fun. And it was kind of that mentality. That was really the reason I joined. And so that's important, because I would have never experienced any of this if my older siblings weren't doing it first. And so it was definitely an outlook, like looking up to them. And so it's important to have older siblings or just anybody before you, having someone in your circle doing something as well.
Absolutely. Same to you, Andrew. Tell us about your older brother.
Yes, I think when I was younger, when I first joined, I had the same ideas as Nikayla. Like, I kind of looked at James and I was like, that looks really cool and it looks really fun. Let me get my hands on that. And so I remember the first project I did was our bingo visits to the residents in the spinal cord injury unit at the VA hospital in Hampton. And so that was just really edifying in itself, because while I jumped in kind of with the initiative of my brother, I really got to experience the joy of being able to just meet new people and be able to be part of that support system that will help patients have a positive outlook on life and just to develop new friends. And so I think I always look up to my brother, and currently he's also on a similar track in aspiring to become a doctor at EVMS right now. And so I really look to him for guidance, and his initiative that he's working on works with patients who he's working with them to improve health through fitness and through different nutrition plans. And so that really inspires me, because that's something that I'm very passionate about, and I'm trying to look into how I can maybe expand upon that, whether I attend EVMS or another medical school.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So the challenge to all of those firstborns out there is to get involved and get really involved, because you will not only, reap the benefits of service for yourself and for the community, but you're also setting an example for your younger siblings, much like Andrew and Nikayla here. And so please give James and Nija a big hug from us. And we certainly miss all of you. I can't wait till we can get together in person. And so Nija, you're at North Carolina A&T.
I'm at North Carolina A&T, yes.
Got it. Okay. And so she's studying social work. It's such important work, and oh my gosh, you are going to do amazing things. Andrew's pursuing that medical degree, and we just could not be more proud of you two. And of course, we always look forward to future updates and staying connected. So thank you for joining us today. I wish I could just keep you on all day. So
thank you for having me.
But I am going to have to make sure that I stay on schedule. And please, shoot me a text and we'll get reconnected and hopefully do lunch after this pandemic.
Yes, that sounds great. Thank you so much for having me, Katie and Kim. And donate today. Giving Tuesday is a really big thing. And this organization really means a lot to me and Nikayla and all of the youth volunteers. So we really appreciate everything that you can do for us today so that we can continue serving the Hampton Roads community.
Oh, love you guys.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Oh, goodness. Whew. All right. I got to keep it together. It's always so wonderful to see people you haven't seen in a while. Okay. So you just heard from Nikayla and Andrew. They're both amazing individuals. We can't thank them enough for the time that they put in as youth volunteers here and for their continued commitment to YVCHR now as they are adults. And, their stories are similar to a lot of other alumni who, come back and we've had graduates who want to, again, join us at Summer of Service to be team leaders, or they just check in and say, hey, I just wanted to let you know what I'm doing, or, let's meet up for lunch. And it means so much to us because it is truly about the relationships. And we put a lot of value on that here at YVCHR. So let's see. Oh my goodness. We are just making tracks today. It is time to meet two of our fearless leaders from YVCHR's Board of Directors. Makia Ross is our board president, and Heather Peterson is our board vice president. Along with the other members of the board, they are highly invested in all aspects of our organization's success. Makia and Heather, thank you for joining us for our first ever live stream event. Just think, this is actually hard to kind of wrap your mind around. This time last year, we had just celebrated YVCHR's 10-year anniversary with a full-fledged gala. So we, in person, just a great evening of celebration. And now we're behind screens, but I think, we have risen to some challenges this year, and 2020 has certainly been a different kind of experience. So, how are you doing this morning?
Doing great. Excited to be here. This is so fantastic. And it's just amazing. And listening to all the stories and experiences that everyone shared about the impact of YVC. It's just a great way to start the day.
Very I could not agree more. And even sitting in this chair, knowing all the things going on, it's just been kind of ooh, I know what's next, and you all don't. So I love that we got to kind of save up for this moment where we could really talk about, the things that we've overcome this year as an organization, because you all are right there with us, experiencing it, and then celebrate all the victories, and then just kind of set the tone for this next year, 2021. So let's see, Heather, if you could share with us some takeaways that have made our organization stronger through the many challenges that we've faced together this year.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. It's one of the things that makes me feel so honored to be part of the board and this great organization. So what we know is that we kicked off with high aspirations for 2020. And right at the beginning in February, we know that some of our high school and middle school students in York County suffered a loss with a fire at the Grafton complex. And the organization, Katie, under your leadership, just pivoted immediately and said, we've got to find opportunities for these young people. They were on an every other day schedule. And so how could we provide opportunities for them during the day when they weren't in school to be able to serve the community, and immediately launched many activities and gave us new opportunities where we weren't previously able to serve because our youth are in school. And so we were able to take advantage and provide opportunities to connect with organizations during the day. And then right on the heels of February, of course, came COVID, which our in-person volunteering definitely was impacted. But again, that immediate switch into we're not going to give up the opportunity to serve our community nor to abandon service learning. So providing virtual opportunities for our young people. They could come pick up supplies from the office and then do things at home and or deliver projects back to the office to be distributed back to the community. And then we began to think about how we could do projects where we could social distance, and our big build projects, our construction projects, supporting the, the big, I'm going to say it wrong, Bluebird Gap Farm and the amazing big build projects that took place there, where we could be outside and socially distanced, and still continued with the summer of service, again, being very mindful to practice, all the safety measures, but to still continue to provide service learning and to continue to serve our community. So my takeaway is that we just got bigger and better and stronger through this, seeing the resilience of the youth and that they did not give up and still wanted to have and use their serving hearts. And I think there's lessons learned. We don't have to stop doing virtual service projects, for instance. That allows even more youth to participate in different ways. And so there's so many things, despite the challenges, that I know will make our organization bigger and better in 2021, especially with help from others if they donate today.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you were actually at a recent project volunteering alongside our youth volunteers and your son for the Sleep in Heavenly Peace bed build. Since you got to experience that service project firsthand in person, tell me your thoughts on, just how comfortable and how safe you felt serving in person.
From the moment you walked up, people having their temperature checked, asking questions, everybody was in masks. The stations for the project were, apart, so that you definitely were minding for social distance purposes. And so I felt completely safe. I watched every single person who was there participating and following all of those precautions. But even beyond that safety piece, what I felt most of all was just the proudness, and that youth were just there to serve, and how dedicated everyone was. It got hot, it got warm in those masks, but people persevered. And it just was an amazing experience to be part of, and then also to watch.
Absolutely. And even, you learn how to wear safety goggles and a mask and still function. So, all of us are adapting this year. All of us are learning how to continue doing things that are meaningful and impactful despite COVID. I know this year will go down in the books, but we want to go down in the books having risen to the challenge. And, like you said, Heather, like we have expanded beyond anything we could have imagined had we not gone through some of these challenges, and those upgrades are here to stay. So I guess this is going to be Makia's opportunity to kind of do a little call to action. Like, we're moving onward and upward. What is 2021 going to look like, and how can our viewers help YVCHR?
Yes, just to piggyback off of what Heather just mentioned, like you said, Katie, we're moving onward, we're moving upward. We have so much to celebrate. Everyone involved with YVCHR, we are extremely resilient, and we bounced back so much. And 2021 is going to be bigger and better. We've achieved so much, and we have so much more to achieve. And just like everything that's on social media right now, we're streaming live. We just want everyone to like, comment, share, tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell your friends, tell everybody what's going on right now. And just share everything that you can right now, what's going on, and, what we're doing. And it's not a secret. Just tell everybody that you can what we're doing right now, and how you can be a part of this. And then we also have our virtual photo booth right now that you can take a photo of. And just want to clarify, is that only on Facebook, Katie? Are there other social platforms that we're sharing this on as well?
So we'll be sharing the recording on our YouTube channel, and then we'll have the recording on our website, and then we'll also have the recording on Facebook. But the virtual photo booth is that little tiny URL at the bottom of your screen. If we can switch to that banner, that will allow them to access the virtual photo book, which then gets pushed out to even more social media. So by snapping and sharing, even if you just want to show your support by participating in the virtual photo booth, that's going to just help us connect to more people on social media using those awesome hashtags. And so for those people who are hashtag savvy, they can click on Giving Tuesday, they can click on I donated to YVCHR, they can click on YVC Serve-a-Thon, and it's going to connect them to all of the great things that we're able to push out on our social media pages and hopefully cultivate some more donors that way, because this is an important end of year push, and we're really just hoping to engage people who don't know about YVCHR.
Right, exactly. And it's always free to share, and it's free to take a picture. But also we want to dig a little bit deeper into those pocketbooks and to those wallets a little more also. And any donation, there's no donation that is too small, but we don't mind a little larger ones as well.
And you know what? I have to throw this in there because I felt like it was intended to be heard on my drive to work this morning in the dark. I was listening to my favorite station, and they mentioned that giving is actually up 20% right now. So, in a time of great need and a time of great uncertainty, in times where people are feeling, emotionally drained and they've got COVID exhaustion, and, there's so much that's still yet to be determined, people are realizing that nonprofits really do stand in the gap for a lot of our vulnerable population. But, and I know Heather can speak to this. So I'm going to put you on the spot. This is one of my bonus. This is a freebie. I've been doing this to a lot of people today. I'm just going to take advantage of the opportunity. But we value social emotional wellness of our youth volunteers, and service is a big part of that. So if you could speak.
Whew, so you starting to make me tear up. I can hear it in your voice. During this time where, folks are in isolation and the connection, the relationships sometimes aren't there other than these boxes, the Brady Bunch boxes, as I like to call them, having the opportunity to connect, to be part of community, and what that looks like is a way for us to build, again, our relationship, our social awareness, being able to develop that empathy and perspective taking. Like I've said, we've all been going through this storm. We just kind of ride it out in different boats. And one of the ways for us to persevere, and using that word Makia and I keep throwing around of resiliency, is to build on those social emotional skills, is for us, again, to be connected, and for folks to feel like they're making those contributions in supporting, again, each other. That was a lot of what the youth talked about, is being able to come together and collaborate with others. And so that's what service learning is about. It's about building that social emotional skills for our youth.
Right. And these students have not, for the most part, I mean, there are a couple, smaller schools in our area that are operating in person, but the vast majority of our students have not been in a physical classroom, at least in grades 6 through 12, since March. And for those York County students that Heather mentioned earlier who were affected by the Grafton fire, they were sharing buildings since early February, meaning that they alternated school and only attended 3 days out of every week. So since February, for some students locally here, they have not had any type of routine where they are seeing their peers regularly in a physical space. And I feel blessed that we could, even on a smaller scale, provide those opportunities for youth who, need that social connectedness, but they also need to feel that sense of purpose. I know that we are, by definition, not frontline in the sense that we're, in the trenches providing immediate resources to people in critical need. But I do know, and I'm grateful to one of our grantors who saw that, yes, and in a big way, we are connecting youth in a really important manner to a healthy outlet. At this time where depression and social isolation are rampant. And so those youth volunteers are getting an outlet that is so needed. And that they've been persevering through this like the rest of us. And we have to recognize that young people are also, kind of just taking it day by day and providing a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel, so to say, is something that I feel honored and blessed to be a part of. So I know Makia and Heather and Kimberly, we can all sit here all day and tell amazing stories of some of the ways that, we've seen kind of that service magic happen. I hope we've told some of those stories well through the videos, the testimonies, through the commercials and the interviews. So I guess if you have a parting thought, ladies, this is your opportunity before we begin to sign off today. So I'm going to let one of you or both of you just provide one more call to action.
I think we would be remiss if we didn't mention the fact that that any donation also that is provided today will be doubled also by our generous partner, Consumer Litigation Associates. So I think that we need to also give them a big shout out as well. So we definitely need to mention that it's also. And then Heather, if you want to piggyback off of anything as well, feel free.
Just again, anything that you give will make a difference. We're looking at 2021 being bigger and better. And so no donation is too small or too big. And we just appreciate your generosity.
Absolutely. And so there's our event partner again, Consumer Litigation Associates, just super incredible partner in terms of helping us to leverage this Giving Tuesday event, but also extending that through the rest of this week. So we have until the end of this week to take advantage of this matching gift. So any donation up to $2,000 will be matched. And that will just help us to reach our goals. And as we mentioned at the beginning of our live stream today, when you click on our website, when you go to ybchr.org/donate, you will see different giving levels. And those giving levels can kind of help you know where some of your money goes. And we operate, I don't know how many people know this, but we operate on an extremely lean budget. So where, where we can get support, it is used for the things that help us to provide programming. And we can't, we couldn't do it without you, quite honestly. So those giving levels are there to kind of give you an idea of, what $10 can do, what $25 can do, $50. You heard a little bit from Jaden about, how we send youth volunteers to YVC Summit, and what that experience is like, but obviously entails some travel expenses. And our hope is that we will be able to attend Summit this year in New York City. Last year was in Kansas City. The year before that was in Charleston, and just those life-changing experiences, excuse me, that Summit can provide for our youth volunteers. So your donations, big, small, any amount that you choose will definitely go a long way. And again, will be matched by Consumer Litigation Associates. And we just absolutely appreciate your ongoing support, and snap those pictures. We want to see all those photos popping up in our virtual photo booth. So don't be shy. You can wear your sweats and have crazy hair. We just want to see your smiling faces. So Makia and Heather, thank you so much, not just for joining us today, but of course for your ongoing leadership and just for being so invested in Youth Volunteer Corps of Hampton Roads, and just being amazing people. So we thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Ladies. Wow. What a morning. What a morning. We want to thank everybody who has donated so far. I want to give a big shout out to Andrew Chung. He donated. Thank you very much, Andrew. And we also got an anonymous donation. So that's amazing. Whoever you are, you know who you are. We appreciate your support of YVCHR. I'm just going to run down real quick everybody who's donated so far. Bill Jones, Chris Keyser, Ben Smelly, Brian Fries, Richard Swain, Beth Bronner, Donna Atkins, Anonymous, and Andrew Chung. Thank you guys so much for donating so far. Based on the Facebook and our website, we've raised, or you guys have actually helped us raise $705. Awesome. And remember, every donation is going to be matched up to $2,000. We've got all day, and you guys can donate all day, and the matching will be all week, so you even have all week to do it. So definitely get out there and donate, because I know there's going to be more people who are going to donate later, of course, and we thank you for your generosity.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. And it is super easy to hit that share button. And sometimes you don't realize how many different shares will go beyond that one share to help spread the word. And I think, we are an affiliate of a larger network of youth volunteer corps across the North America network. So you may actually, inspire another part of the country to say, hey, what's this Youth Volunteer Corps thing? I love what I heard today. Let's figure out what it's going to take to start an affiliate in our region. So, every like, every comment, every share, it does play a role in advancing our mission. So we have a few things that we want to share with you. So we're going to wrap up, and here's what we still need. Please like and share this recording.
And number 2, you're going to, big surprise, donate. You can be a monthly sustainer. You can give us a little, you can give us a lot. Whatever amount you feel called to give, you can go to the website that's scrolling across the bottom there, www.yvchr.org/donate, and just donate.
And before we sign off, you can actually snap a picture. So take out your smartphone and snap a picture of that tiny URL, that little bit.ly. That's going to be your link to access if you want to participate in our virtual photo booth, which again helps us to get the word out. It is fun. It also helps us to connect with other people so that they can hear about the wonderful things YVCHR is doing.
We have some up here. You can see some individuals who have already participated in our photo booth. We want as many people as possible to take their photos and then share it, so we can get this fundraiser Serve-a-Thon out there.
Absolutely. We want to get it out and spread the word. So it looks like number 4, we'll say this one together. Let's see if we can coordinate the last line of our live stream. Unrehearsed. You ready? All right. Have a
safe, healthy, and happy
holiday
season. Thank you.
Thank you so much.